JB here, October 8th, 324 in this fine Wednesday. Talk really quick about the market, some names I'm looking at, go from there. S&P up nearly 0.6%, another rally, more all-time highs. It looks like Fed minutes 2 o'clock today, non-event, right? Nothing surprising. Um, yeah, and then outside of that, it continues to be the status quo, the same old, same old. Yeah, Jensen on CNBC this morning, kind of, I guess, blowing smoke up. Pardon my French, Musk, but talking about investments in XAI and just not much really going on in regards to everything. The last couple of days been nothing, no crazy. No, I don't have data, right? There's no earnings, so headlines, and there hasn't been much in the way of headlines. Just continue to be the government shutdown. So I was being a little sarcastic earlier, and I was this morning too. It's like I get things kind of like I can make my I guess blood boil. I don't know the best way to describe it, but it upsets me when I waste time and effort on things, right? That I shouldn't have to. And so when I see, like this morning, it was the headline: 17% of uh, surveys said they are having a pause around making large purchases, house or car, because of the government shutdown, right? And I'm like, oh my gosh, it's been 8 days long, right? I mean, so uh, that was that, right? And then and I get it, right? So if you're a government employee, and I was talking about this morning, how many folks are actually furloughed as part of the government shutdown? It's like 1 point some percent of the population. So if you told me 2% of population because of the furlough, yeah, I get it, right? And some folks maybe live week to week, month to month. Like it's a serious problem if you're not getting a paycheck this week, right? I mean, or next week or whatever, and you have bills to pay. So what do you do? I get it, right? So this also today, another headline: flights delayed across multiple major airports due to government shutdown. Again, like me, I go and click that link thinking they're going to say the TSA is closed because of the government shutdown. Like it's not going to be a functioning entity, right? You're not going to be able to get on a plane because the TSA is closed. Meanwhile, you scroll down and it's because people are calling out, right? And I get that, right? Same thing, right? If you're a TSA and you have to make payments on your mortgage on Friday and you're not getting paid on Friday or whatever it is, like you got to find other means of income, or try and get a grace period extender or whatever the case. So you got to make other arrangements, and whether that mean calling out and being an Uber driver for the week, I don't know. Like I get that, but instead of making it an article, a headline that doesn't infuriate me by saying because the government shutdown, there's things that have happened. They say it as if the government shutdown is the reason, right? And to me, they in the article it says because air traffic controllers are calling out. They can't staff it, but it's like, what if it's a virus, right? Maybe a lot of folks are sick right now. I'm joking, right? Because obviously it's because people are either calling out because of need working another job or calling out to give the government the finger. But like you don't know that. They don't know that without 100% certainty that everybody's calling out is because of that, because could be a virus hit that certain area, right? Joking aside, but to me, that's the stuff that just drives me nuts, right? It's like those headlines just kind of like they want you to click. So that's what they say. All right. Rants for other days. A nice little meme here from Tim's. I've never seen this before. Buy the dip, sell. Usually I see the one that says buy, and then it's sell. I forget. I'll have to find that clip, but nice meme there. But anyway, right now as I speak, markets pretty much right at all-time highs. I don't know what might rattle markets much the rest of the week. Maybe we'll get some chop here between 11 o'clock and pretty much 3 o'clock. We were actually, since now we've been trading between 672 and 673 on the SPY. So that's a good sign. I talked about 672.93 or so was the upper Bollinger Band. That was kind of trading range down to 660. I don't know if we'll get to 660 this week, pending any crazy shenanigans, but that 662.93 seems to be like some resistance. So maybe we'll have to chop around tomorrow. And then maybe we go into the weekend, all-time highs, despite all the government shutdown stuff. So that's kind of the overall markets here. Take a look at everything today. Gold, silver soaring, gold over 4,000. And now you have all the folks ratcheting up their estimates for gold. Who knows what that looks like? Yields are higher today. The Fed minutes, I don't know, it didn't do much, but the dollar's stronger. So it's just everything's going up. And at some point, right? Who knows when we're in a bubble? 6 months from now? Never. You don't know, right? Can't say it, but at some point there's going to be an opportunity. So to me, it's always like, you got to have some kind of exit strategy or some kind of plan to take advantage when it does happen. Maybe it's not tomorrow. Maybe it's not next week. Maybe it's not next month. Whatever. Those are things in the back of my head. All right. So that's kind of the overall markets. Now, just quick on some individual names. Finally, Duolingo doing the move that I thought it should have done a couple weeks ago. And boom. Massive move here today. No news, no catalyst. There's no upgrade. Up 7% here at 345. 330 36 was the big area. Once it broke through that, it was like a hot knife through butter, and all the way up to 350. Found some resistance. I think 355 is the next spot. So maybe we can get through that tomorrow. And then 375. Call me crazy. So I locked some of my calls out to cover costs for 100%. I'll just hold the rest. They were up 200% earlier. I don't have as much as I would like, because normally when I get the strikes that are $1 that are, what was it, $80 out of money with 2 weeks expiration, I typically don't go in too aggressive. But we'll see what tomorrow brings. If it holds gains and it trades up to 355, I might look for some more spec trades on Duolingo. Because again, I think it's a misunderstood story. When you have a misunderstood story that's been sold off based on that premise, creates opportunity. Opportunity creates possibility for some nice gains on the call side. So that's Duolingo. DELL, gosh, kicking myself at the start of the week. And DELL's one of those names, came to my attention last year. I wouldn't even say it came to my attention. I mean, of course, if you don't know about DELL, Gateway, gosh, I mean, go back in the day. But just one of those names that a way to play the AI craze and NVIDIA surge and all that fun stuff last year. Stock was all the way up at 180 last year. To me, it was always a backlog story, right? Billions of dollars in backlog, then the partnerships with NVIDIA. You had Jensen always talking positively about DELL. So you had to think, they're front and center because the battle between Supermicro and DELL. But anyway, so the thing is, I made some great coin on it last year for that big move up, and then it's been trying to time it again for the next leg. And then it's recent earnings. I mean, it's sold off, right? Down in September, all the way down into the 120s. And now it's becoming a story. It's like, okay, conservative guidance, stock has kind of hit the reset button and then off to the races. And then yesterday, sure enough, in the morning, raised their guidance. I look at the stock, I'm like, it's so tough to play. I figured it was going to be kind of like a sell the news event. And not sell the news, I mean, it gapped higher, but it did give back a lot of the gains yesterday. So I'm like, I'll just hold tight. And then you watch a lot of upgrades this morning, and then it just started to take off. I'm like, maybe this is the time it's finally going to look to retest all-time highs. Didn't want to miss out. It was in the 150s. Went and got some spec lotto 170s. Boom, it takes off, closed some out for 100%. And then I was trying to figure out other ways to take advantage of the further move without risking options that expire on Friday. So I closed some more of the weekly strikes for 150%. And then I rolled some out into next week. And then it started to pull back. And at times, the ones for next week, the 185s were 100%. Hindsight, maybe I should have closed some of those out. But in lieu of doing that, I figured now I have time. So I closed the last of the weekly strikes out, close to 100%. So nice profits there, right in freebies. I'll just continue to hold those. But I mean, you look at DELL, I think it's May of last year, it hit 175 and change, I think was all-time high. So you got to think that's the bullseye. If you get through that, maybe there's some FOMO to 180. So I'll continue to hold those strikes. And yeah, here's the longer dated chart here on DELL. So again, to me, it's like one of those names, conservative, fundamental story. It's been paying its debt like it always was, a high leverage company. So as the debt ratio comes down, it becomes more attractive. Great story. The thing is, people are always waiting for the next shoe to drop. Like, when are these orders going to slow down? When's the whole hype? And it hasn't, right? So that's the thing with DELL, right? But there's always refresh in the cycles. And rants for the day. All right, so that was the DELL trade. So looking at DELL, HPQ, and HPQ is a name I traded. I don't know if it was last year, earlier this year. But another name on the AI hype. Maybe it was the summer of last year. I think Bill Ackman's bullish. One of those fun guys are bullish. But anyway, that one, I think I traded for some profits last year, and then it's kind of like just muddled around. And you would think refresh on some of these names, in regards to people upgrading their computers for AI and stuff, would just be just a big tailwind for HPQ, and it has been the case. But now you look at what DELL did the last couple of days, and you look at HPQ, and I'm like, this thing's it's like it's stuck in quagmire, sitting right at the 50-day moving average. I start looking at the calls, I'm like, wow, these are inexpensive. It's like pricing in no move. So when I see that, I think opportunity. I go get some lotto calls into next week. We'll see if there's follow through tomorrow. It's sitting here at 27. It's up 1.75%. If there's follow through, I might look for some more strikes, because if it does start to move, those calls are going to be less expensive, right? I mean, to me, $1 out of strike, one with a week left to expiration. I mean, to me, that screams like maybe sometimes it's too good to be true, right? So a lot of times with that, when I look at the premiums, I'm like, wow, that looks inexpensive. You go find out that there's an ex-dividend date, and there's a $1 divvy that's going to hit tomorrow. So not the case here. All right, so that's HPQ. XYZ is all-time high, not all-time highs. High of the session here today. Disappointing, right? Great news this morning. Runs up into the 81s and then just muddles around. Back under 80. Then it looks like going red to green to red. I'm like, oh, are you kidding me? And then since 11 o'clock, it's been steady to the upside. And then in the last 45 minutes, from 81 all the way up. It looks like it's going to get up to 82 by the end of the day. Still looking to lock some of those spec lottos from next week. I was hoping to get them out at 100%. I might have to settle for like 75%. So don't be surprised if I close some of those out before the close and then just ride the rest. JOBY, it almost looked like it was going to break out. Noon hour, we're sitting under 17 bucks, and then boom, almost up to 18. Found some pressure back down to 17. Now it looks like it's finding some buyers. I mean, if I was more confident that there was going to be continuation tomorrow, I'd add some more strikes. I'll probably wait for tomorrow to see some follow through. But love JOBY. And then, disappointing though, of course, when I had the strikes. Thankful to lock the Octobers in, right? They would have taken on the chin. So I bought myself some later dated ones, which gives me more time. Probably just going to sit on my hands before I add any more strikes there. And then SERV Robotics back to doing what it does after its rallies. Frustrating, right? I mean, hoping it would hold 1375. Did it yesterday. Then boom, down in the morning, down to 1340. Find some buyers back over 14 and then hit lows at 3 o'clock. Only needs 20 more cents here in 25 minutes to get back over 1375. Still will remain patient adding more strikes there. I still think that's headed to 18 bucks in the coming days and weeks. Trying to think of some of the other names here. Disappointing, right? So one of my put hedges yesterday were Arista Networks. If I just close out the puts at the bottom, right, and then just went on the other side, because Arista is another one of those names that's going to get huge benefits from this whole scale out. Like, gosh, I remember trading Arista before it split. Just one of those early stage stories that everybody thought, Cisco was the king and who was going to take over. Anyways, rants for other days. All right, that's it, folks. Let's have a great day. I'll be back on audio later. Rock and roll.